Well, welcome back to yet another video, and well, it's been another week and another episode of Gundam GquuuuuX has been released. And well, there was no clan battle in this episode, but it did follow on from what the events of the previous episode. In this case, Amato Machu is now stepping up into the cockpit of the GquuuuuX. Now, people think, in fact, she was the one who flew, but it was Yan in her much more aggressive style. And at the same time, she's been dealing with the fallout about it. I was right in thinking the fact that she has a crush on Shunji, but I think even Yan is actually, I think it's more just an emanation of the new type philosophy, given the fact of the Kira, as Yan thinks, basically she's seen it again, and whereas Machu and thinks that just belongs to her and Shunji, something special they share for some strange reason. But what really surprised me about this whole episode is the fact we got a Gundam Legacy character appeared in this episode. More specifically, a character who only appeared in like a couple of episodes piloting an experimental mobile arm as its pilot. And it turns out we don't know what the Kiloga is yet, but apparently it's a mobile armour, not a mobile suit. So it's quite possible what they're doing is they're taking different things on the different Gundam lore and combining it. We haven't seen it yet, but it looks quite interesting. At the same time, the official part of the GquuuuuX has been told by his contact not to trust Charlie Bull, and at the same time the Side 6 military police are on his tail. What they're telling him for, we don't yet know. Most likely will be revealed partway through the episode. Oh, right, there I go again. Also, we learn for a fact that, at the same time, that the Pomeranian team itself getting a bit restive about the GquuuuuX. Okay, granted they've had a lot of success with it, and probably made a lot of money. But it's proving more trouble than it's worth. At the same time, Yan is spending time with Shunji, and she too is also developing feelings of a crush on him as well, thereby hinting at a love triangle between the three of them. But Shunji doesn't even really understand it. I think it must be a new type thing. Also going on in the story, which I think is quite excellent as well, is the fact that basically they've been following Amata, and they've found Shunji's, basically his living space in an airlock. And Amata overhears them about what they're going to do. Anyway, the boss of the Pomeranians meet up with Charlie Bull to discuss affairs. And in their discussion, she finds out about the GquuuuuX. Charlie Bull thanks him for all the data they've gotten on the GquuuuuX as a prototype, but he would like it back because it does belong to Xeon. And they hash out a deal. Basically, she'll give them the GquuuuuX and throw in the Red Gundam to sweeten the deal. Now they know where Shinji actually lives with the Gundam. Basically in an old decommissioned airlock. That was decommissioned 10 years ago. We also know for a fact that the leader of the Pomeranians has no love for Xeon or Side 6, which makes me think the fact that she's a refugee as well. So there's definitely clearly hinting of trouble. At the same time, but Side 6 is also redeveloping an area of land in the colony to build more shelters just in case another war breaks out. Now is this either to deal with the overcrowding that all the refugees have caused, or they're just building more living space just to cope with the fallout of another conflict? We may not yet know. Meanwhile, the legacy character, I forget the name of, but she's back, tells Charlie Bull that there is an unofficial conference being held between Casilia Zabi and several other members in the Side 6 leadership. It's only unofficial, so even the Office of the Supreme Commander doesn't know. But it's going to be quite interesting. At the same time, a mysterious, ominous delivery arrives at Side 6, and we learn for a fact that the company who's been shipping this cargo are based out of all things, Japan. And apparently it's a laboratory doing experimentations on humans. Now, what was in that container, we may not yet know. But also at the same time, another legacy character also appears. You know him, Bascom. And apparently, the group mentioned, I think most likely, is indeed the Titans. And this thing that we're most likely referring to is one of their new type labs. Now, which lab it is, I don't know, but it might be the Morasame lab. And we even actually meet the Cyber new type. And apparently she's got the same thing as Shinji about new type Gundams, as we see her putting on a pilot suit ready for a battle that takes place tomorrow. And at the same time, Machu has been dealing with the fallout from school. Her mum is always busy at work, and she does show up at a career meeting where Amata does put her career goals down, but the school doesn't really think it's realistic for what she's doing, and they want to discuss it with her mother about a more realistic career, or maybe how to improve her grades. But then, of course, because of everything, all the stress he's been under lately, she snaps and then runs off. Meanwhile, Bascom has plans, and it turns out for a fact that they are not the only ones who also know about the conference. And the episode is about the plot to assassinate Lady GquuuuuuX. Now, what this might mean, we don't yet know. But it's evidently for a fact that, yes, there are factions who don't like the Zabi family. And Bascom, or the Titans as a whole, are planning to use this to try and get it done. At the same time, apparently Lady GquuuuuuX hasn't left the moon in 5 years. Now, I'm not sure what that means, retroactively, but it most likely seems to me that most likely that Gurren has been making plans, and Shalia Bull apparently is loyal to Gurren for some strange reason. But towards the end of the episode, Xavier finds himself getting the crosshairs of the Side 6 military police, and they plan to kill him. But who comes to his rescue but Shalia Bull? In a jetpack. Oh boy, this Shalia Bull incarnation I think is actually younger. We don't exactly know how old he is in the original anime. I thought he was an older man, but he's most likely a mature man. And at the same time, we've got the Titans planning something. With most likely, yes, they have cyber new types. And apparently, they're the Earthnoids, or some people on Earth at the very least, including some members of the Titans, perhaps the entire Titan organization as well, harbour sentiments about new types, and perhaps space noise as a whole. So maybe the next conflict, depending on how it plays out, could be interesting to say the least. Yeah, this was definitely a very good episode, with it ending with GquuuuuuX heading towards Side 7. Side 6, I should say. For the aforementioned conference. What happens next, we don't yet know. But it's going to be interesting. And this was definitely a good episode. It builds a lot more on the character drama. We got a break from the mobile suit action. We've had 5 episodes literally just mobile suits bashing each other over the head. But now we've got on a break and then just setting up how the politics works in this specific timeline. It was a very good episode all the same. Yeah, Gundam GquuuuuX is certainly shaping up to be definitely one of the more intriguing aspects. The idea of what if Sion won the 1 Year War is probably been speculated, but this is them actually saying, well, this is what happened. And at the same time, the Federation is not down and out. They're greatly weakened, and quite possibly under some sort of restriction treaty, and Side 6 is some sort of buffer zone between the two of them, so maybe there's a demilitarized zone. Maybe the Federation was able to worm its way out. Perhaps the 1 Year War was just as exhausting for Sion as it was there as well. And it seems like, for a fact, at the very least, that something is definitely going on. Well, I've been the Challenge, so please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheerio!